Hey, good evening, Tom. There shouldn't be anything playing. Let me check something. This is Daron, Kilo 1, Delta Bravo Charlie. All stations please stand by. The Denver Radio Club Learning Net starts in 5 minutes.
W0TX repeater.
Alright, the FTC recently ruled that right to repair is allowed. So this is just an old testimony.
Hey everybody, so
let me see here. Louis Rossman, not pictured here. He's a electronics technician, but this is a 16-year-old who gave a right to repair testimony in Maryland. Let's see, when was this? Yeah, a year or so ago. Let's see here.
my testimony in Maryland, at least in the House version of the bill, was pretty awful. I think I did decent in the Senate version with the 2 minutes I had, but the best testimony by far, in my opinion, was from Sam. He is a moderator on my Discord server and has been for about a year now. He showed up to this Maryland hearing, and I think he just knocked it out of the park with the 119 seconds that they give you to testify before an annoying buzzer goes off. So let's play Sam's testimony, since I think it was, again, the best of all the testimonies given.
Hello, my name is Sam Mensimer. I'm 16 years old. I'm a junior in high school. I have run an electronics repair business in Washington, D.C. since I was 12. I'm here today because right to repair is very important to ensuring the longevity of our electronics as they become a bigger part of our lives. I believe Jessa and the other panel mentioned the software locks that Apple's been putting in place on the batteries on the iPhone 11s and the newer models. Apple, I actually have a quote here from Apple that they responded to this saying, it's unsafe for people other than Apple authorized service providers to replace their batteries. I've been replacing batteries in iPhone since I was 12. I'm still here today. Got an iPhone right here. You can just pull there's some screws in here. You take the screen off, you pull some tabs out, and the battery comes out. I don't see how that's unsafe. They also, many manufacturers, like they mentioned before, they won't give us electrical schematics. They say it's like an intellectual property issue, and giving us access to that information would compromise their intellectual property. I don't really think that's a valid argument. I can make that schematic if I look at the device and go around for several hours with a multimeter probing around, figuring out where stuff goes. Also, a lot of companies have shown that that's not an intellectual property issue. This is an electrical schematic that I found tucked into the bottom of my Bosch dishwasher while I was fixing some electrical wires the other day after a rat chewed through them. So this piece of paper helped me fix that dishwasher with an 80-cent piece of wire and a $20 drain hose, as opposed to paying the $450 that we were quoted by the Bosch factory service technician. If I were able to get parts or schematics like this for things like this, I also repair motherboards. Jessa taught me how to repair motherboards. I went to her class. If I were able to get those schematics for an iPhone like this, I would be able to keep hundreds more devices out of a landfill and keep consumers from having to spend thousands of dollars on new devices. I encourage a favorable report, and I thank you for your time.
So this panel? Seeing none, thank you all for coming.
Could I also add, I would also like a favorable report. Not to say that.
All right, thank you all very much.
All right, we'll get started here. Hopefully shouldn't be hearing anything in the background. I had some fans going, I turned those off, but audio should be clear otherwise. This is K1DBC. The DRC Learning Net will start in 1 minute. All stations please stand by while the repeaters are placed into net mode. Okay, good. Good.
CL off.
Good evening. Hello and welcome back to the Denver Radio Club Learning Net. This is Kilo 1 Delta Bravo Charlie. My name is Daron and I am Net Control. This is a casual conversation where we can discuss ham radio and STEM topics in general, and thankfully we have plenty of combined expertise and experience. We meet every Wednesday, except the third Wednesday of the month at 7:30 p.m. Mountain Time on 145.490 and 448.625. Both have a negative offset. 2 meter uses 600 kilohertz and 70 centimeter uses 5 megahertz, meaning you transmit on 144.890 or 448.025 respectively. Seeing ads for Heathkits, that's kind of funny. This net can be broken at any time for emergency or priority traffic by using the word break. Is there any emergency or priority traffic at this time? Oh yeah, the intro. Yeah, that's that old ARL video. You can contact us via email at drclearningnet@gmail.com. We also post info at groups.io/g/ham learningnet, as well as stream and archive our nets on youtube.com/WEREGR8. You can also search for W0TX or my call sign K1DBC, and you should be able to find it. Yeah, I'll have to see if I can find the original. It's from like the 60s or 70s. It's kind of funny. This is K1DBC, Net Control. We will begin by inviting Elmers only to check in with or without traffic. All Elmers, please check in now. Once more, this is K1DBC Net Control. We'll begin by inviting Elmers only to check in with or without traffic. All Elmers, please check in now.
You sound a bit lonely, Daron. AE0GQ, Tom in Aurora. I'll check in.
We're all on our own here, boys.
Kilo Alpha Zero Victor Bravo Alpha Curtis. In Lakewood, there's some subject I could Elmer about.
All right, sounds good. First net in a long time that we haven't heard Fred on the air, but maybe he might join in later. But I'd like to thank and welcome the following Elmers: AE0GQ Tom and KA0VBA Curtis. Thanks for checking in. All right. All other check-ins to the net will be taken in alphabetical groups based on the first letter of the suffix of the operator's call sign. That would be the first letter after the number in your call sign. If you can, please try to use I2 phonetics as you check in and indicate if you have any traffic or questions as you do. If your suffix begins with the letters A through Z, Alpha through Mike, A through M, please check in now.
W Kilo 0 Lima Papa Romeo, Lanier and Inglewood.
Kilo 0 Lima Alpha India, K0LAI, Larry in Lakewood.
Kilo 6 Hotel Juliet Victor, K6H JV, Tom Arvada, no traffic. November 0 Echo Yankee Zulu, Jim in Jefferson County.
I just put in the chat what what that footage is from. It's a pretty interesting watch. Let's see here. All right, we'll go ahead and hold up there for just a moment.
Charles and Dimmer, no traffic.
All right, sorry, I doubled over you there, Charles, but I'll get you checked in here in a second. We'll go ahead and drop there, or we're going to hold up there for just a moment. All right, Net Control, we'd like to welcome and acknowledge the following check-ins: K0LPR Lanier, K0LAI Larry, K6HJV Tom, N0EYZ Jim, and WD0CIV Charles. Thank you all for checking in. All right, once more at the moment, if your suffix begins with the letters A through M, Alpha through Mike, please check in now with your call sign, name, and let us know if you have any traffic or questions.
Whiskey 0 Bravo Kilo Sierra, Barb in Wheat Ridge, no traffic.
All right, that time we had W0 BKS Barb. Thank you for checking in. We'll go ahead and open up to the whole alphabet. This is K1WC Net Control. If your suffix begins with the letters A through Z, Alpha through Zulu, please check in now. If you can, try to use ITU phonetics and indicate if you have any traffic or questions as you do. Let us know your call sign, name. Go ahead.
Kilo Delta 0, Quebec, November. KD0 RQN David from Westminster, no traffic.
Kilo Echo 0, November Romeo Echo, Jim in Littleton, no traffic.
November 0 Tango Romeo Papa, Jim in Lakewood, good evening.
And I think every time somebody doubles, I'm going to have you guys buy me a double-double from whatchamaface.
Kilo Sierra 0 Echo, KS0E, Alex in Denver.
And anybody here watching, you're more than welcome. If you're not in the Denver area or you're not licensed, you're more than welcome to check in on YouTube as well. I'll mention that over the air as well. Never hesitate. You can always check in even if you're licensed and here too. All right, we'll go ahead and hold up there for just a moment. All right, this is K1WC Net Control. I'd like to welcome and acknowledge the following check-ins: KD0RQN David, KE0NRE Jim, N0TRP Jim, and KS0E Alex. Thank you all for checking in. All right, this is K1WC Net Control. One more reminder, if you are not in the Denver area or not licensed, and or if you just are not within the range of a repeater or whatever, you're more than welcome to check in online if you'd like, only via that, again on youtube.com. If you search for W0TX, Whiskey 0 Tango X-Ray, or my call sign Kilo 1 Delta Bravo Charlie, K1DBC, you're more than welcome to check in on there. With that, though, we'll go ahead and, again, open up the whole alphabet. If your suffix begins with the letters A through Zulu, A through Z, please check in now.
I think I doubled with someone. K0LAI Jonathan, Lakewood.
I forgot to bring that up. Yep. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. Yeah, and sorry, there was a double earlier, and I forgot to mention it. But yeah, K0SUM Jonathan, I got you checked in. One more call. We're taking all call suffixes, all call signs for the Denver Radio Club Learning Net. Just a general Q&A about electronics, ham radio. If you want to check in with any questions or projects you're working on, or just for the count, we're taking all calls. A through Z, please call now.
This is W0 Fox Charlie Jerry.
Alpha 0 Alpha Foxtrot AA0 AF John in Castle Rock.
That's an interesting call. Let's see, make sure I got it right here. Yep. All right, Net Control welcomes and acknowledges the following check-ins. W0FFC, Jerry, and AA0AF, John. Got you checked in. Thanks so much for checking in.
Whiskey Bravo 4, Hotel Zulu Alpha, John in Lakewood.
Hey, Bob, WA4, MBG got you checked in here. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. Welcome to the following check-ins. WB4HZA John, and then online we had WA4MBG Bob. Thanks everyone for checking in. You're more than welcome to check in at any time again online, or if there's a lull in the conversation, break in the conversation, we're welcome to check in again over the air. And I will take official check-ins throughout the net. With that, though, let me see. Let me drop here for a moment. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. You know, I didn't see anybody actually indicated they had traffic. If you did and I missed it, let me know. There's definitely a few things I can bring up that's been going on. With that, though, I'll throw it out to the net. Does anybody have any comments, questions, further check-ins, anything else you'd like to bring up for the net so far? Go ahead.
K0SUM question.
Yeah, K0SUM, Jonathan, go ahead.
Drone, I've asked you a number of more ham radio related questions, but I was trying to think. I don't remember. So, what radio do you currently use to broadcast? Is Net Control at the moment? And I remember your antenna setup, but maybe a lot of people don't. But I don't remember. So, if you can refresh my mind, that'd be great, Drone. K0LAI, back to net.
W0TX repeater.
Yeah, great question there, Jonathan. I'm trying to bring up what I have for the antenna, but by base station I use a Yaesu FT857D that I bought off of a prior member of the Denver Radio Club. Brought it here locally, which is a lot of fun. They were a Mars member. Yeah, it's a tri-band, HF, VHF, UHF. I've shown my setup in the past. It's a little bit simple only because I don't operate, too much outside of these nets. But yeah, base station transceiver, a Yaesu FT57D, and I have the transceiver base station unit in my basement, and then I break out the head unit with a RJ45 cable to my microphone and head unit up here. I'll drop here for a moment. I can't remember the exact model, but I'm using actually a discone antenna for HF VHF. It's wideband receive. This is not it. It's wideband receive HF, VHF, UHF, a little bit of other bands, but it also can transmit on VHF and UHF, and that's what I use now for the antenna. And then RG8X or RG58, the thicker type of cable going out to that. It's on a 30-foot mast, and I am located in Inglewood around Broadway and Hamden or so. I'll see if I can try to bring up the antenna model that I have. Any questions so far, though, on that? Go ahead.
Can you give us the link again?
Sorry, the link for the radio?
The link to see your screen during the call tonight.
Oh, yes, of course. Kind of the easiest way is if you go onto YouTube and you search for the club's call sign, Whiskey 0 Tango X-Ray. So yeah, just bring up YouTube and do a search for W0TX. And it should be, you'll be able to find the channel, and then from there you can find the live stream. It's a little convoluted, but hopefully that kind of answers your question there. Go ahead if you need any to follow up on that.
Okay, I'll give that a try.
Okay, yeah, I'll try to give out that. Okay, yeah, no problem. Sounds good. I'll try to give that out once more here in a bit as well, just to let people know. Yeah, this might be the one that Tom put here. Let me bring this up of the antenna. Maybe it's an MFJ.
Comment?
Oh yeah, that is it. You found it. All right, Jonathan K0 S.t.e.m. Yeah, I found the Tom A0GQ found the model that I have. It's an MFJ 1868 discone antenna, 25 to 1300 megahertz. Pretty reasonable price considering what it does. I'll try to put a link in the chat here. Yeah, S.t.e.m. Go ahead.
Yeah, I see that discone. That's a nice antenna. Nice looking anyway. I don't have any experience, but it works great for you. And I think it's great that you can do an 857, and anybody can do a net, of course, but would you actually, if you had the money, would you like to move up to a DX101 or a DX10 or a ICOM 7610? K0 S.t.e.m.
Good question there, Jonathan. Yeah, it's just, I guess the budget for me, it just doesn't, again, I'm fairly casual in this. I know that it seems like I operate quite a bit, but it's mostly these nets. I had looked into getting something for mobile and or putting the 857 in my mobile and then getting something, another base transceiver here. Yeah, an IC70, IC7000 or whatever those are, $1,000 range. $700 to $1,000 is what I would kind of expect. I've been looking on the EHAMS classifieds as well. Just at the moment, though, I just don't have the means to, or I just don't have the. I have the budget, but I just don't have the justification of using it. Unfortunately, as silly as that sounds, but yeah, I'll throw it back to you if you have any other comments on that.
Well, actually, your answer is perfect for me because at the moment I look and play with them and enjoy them, but they're not something I need or or a want necessarily, maybe a want, not a need, but yeah, it's always fun to look at new and different radios. But you have to enjoy what you have and when it's working. K0LAI.
Good question there. Yeah, good follow-up on that. I'll drop and ask if anybody has any other comments on that. Yeah, again, I'm using FT857D for transceiver, down to 5 watts, using this MFJ 1868 discount antenna. Wideband coverage between 2500 or 25 megahertz and 1300 megahertz, but transmit on 2 meter, 70 centimeter. Again, it kind of fits what I need. And I'm not a huge contester or anything, but yeah, they still sell them brand new 10, 20, 30 years later on, that 857. So it's kind of interesting. Yeah, it'd be nice to get something a little bit newer, a little bit maybe with a built-in waterfall or software defined. Yeah, I'll just need to look into that. So yeah, anybody else on kind of if you have any questions on that or anything else, go ahead. And then looking at these boat anchors here. It's good stuff.
Did you say you're running an FT857D? Over.
Yes, that's correct. From a previous Denver Radio Club member, it has the Mars mod in it. But yeah, Foxtrot Alpha 857 Delta. Yep.
Excellent radio.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, it's served good purposes for me. I've done a bit of HF in the past, some single sideband and some FT8. I have a separate G5RV antenna for that, and then some of the 6 meter voice here repeater. So yeah, it's been a really good radio. Yeah. Yeah, I guess we don't have much other traffic at the moment, but does anybody have any comments, questions, check-ins, any other questions or anything else? Go ahead.
LAI.
Yeah, my pleasure, Michelle. All right, K0LAI. Larry, go ahead.
I don't know if anybody's mentioned in the past, there's the QSO Today Virtual Ham Expo. That's going to be August 14th and 15th. And the website is qsotodayhamexpo.com. And this has been running in the past, and it has a lot of virtual talks and things that you can attend. And if anybody's interested, I just recommend it because I'm going to certainly attend it virtually. It's over the weekend, not in a couple weekends it is. And I got a couple other items, but I'll wait and see if there's any questions on this.
W0TX repeater.
A0GQ.
Yeah, good. Thanks there for bringing that up again, Larry. Yeah, we did speak about that a little bit last week. I think it may have been on it was the Elmers session. Yeah, we discussed that a little bit. Yeah, registration's $10 to be able to watch the video. Yeah, thanks though for reminding us. A0GQ, Tom, go ahead.
I was just going to point out the $10, which is well worth it. There is, quote, a free one, but that only gets you into the vendor area, so you don't want to do that. But the $10, I take your credit card. Life is simple. The other thing is that the presentations will be up after the weekend. So if you can't sit there and watch it at the time, then you can watch it. I believe they'll keep it up for a month, is my understanding. Going to let it drop. And finally, I hear that because they had so much trouble last year with the vendor and so on that did it, they went back to the vendor from 2 years ago, or at least the system from 2 years ago, which worked out well. So if you had a bad experience last year, don't let that hold you back. A0GQ back to net.
comment?
Yeah, thanks there for the follow-up, A0GQ. Yeah, comment, go ahead.
WB4HCA. I think that if you registered in March and participated in that one that they had difficulty with, they've automatically registered you for this session. That was my understanding in an email that I received early on, but I haven't seen that repeated recently, so I'm hoping that's the case. But yeah, they had a major problem with the vendor this second time that they did this. The first time was great, and they've kind of gone back now, I think, to that first vendor. So hopefully it'll be good. Over.
All right, sounds good. Thanks there for a follow-up as well. Yeah, hopefully they provide some mea culpa or whatever they cut to call it. Eric Guth, 4 Zulu 1 Uniform Golf is his call sign. I guess is in charge of the QSO Today Virtual Ham Expo. Yeah, they sent out an email talking about how they had some vendor issues, and yeah, this year they'll revert back to how they originally did it, and it should alleviate any technical issues into getting some of these talks. Very, very cool. And again, well, additionally, they also have put some of the talks online on YouTube from prior years onto YouTube. I think they may have put them onto the original, or the person who originally gave the presentation. I think it's on their own YouTube channel. So if you do a search on YouTube for QSO Today Virtual Ham Expo, a bit of a mouthful, you'll see some previous talks that were given. Hopefully we'll be able to see some of that. Because they do archive it, but I don't think forever. I don't think you'll always have access to these presentations, but I don't know that 100% sure. But yeah, QSO Today, hamexpo.com. More information. They'll have a couple build-a-thons. Let me drop here for a moment. Probably still have some time to get these ordered. They're provided by qrpme.com. It'll be building a very basic soldering kit, an introduction into how to solder, and just give some good techniques. And there's a little bit more advanced kit. But yeah, hundreds of talks, it seems like, ranging from everything: public safety, low Earth orbit space, amateur radio television, QSOs, or mesh tower generators, a bunch of building things, contesting, you name it. They have a ton of presentations going on. So a lot of youth involved. So should be a lot of fun. Again, this is going to be taking place August 14th and 15th. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. I guess I'll take this opportunity to take official check-ins. Let me drop and give that little spiel here. If you've just tuned in, this is Daron, Kilo 1 Delta Bravo Charlie Net Control for the Learning Net. It's an on-air meeting for radio amateurs seeking help and Elmers giving their time to mentor. It's a general conversation about electronics, ham radio, s.t.e.m, s.t.e.m, and we have plenty of people willing to help in. Everyone is welcome to join in. If there is anyone who wishes to check in at this time over the air, please do so with your call sign using IT Phonetics if you can, and state your name, and if you have traffic or questions for the net, please call now. Okay, that's what you were asking, Tom. Okay. I will, yeah, I'll cover that here. All right, once more. Again, you're always more than welcome to check in if you're not licensed or if you're not in the Denver area. YouTube.com. It's /WEREGR8. Hopefully, very soon I'll be able to get that changed over my call sign, but that's Whiskey Edward Romeo, Edward Golf, Romeo 8. You can also just do a search on YouTube for Whiskey 0 Tango X-Ray. our club's call sign or my call sign, Kilo 1 Delta Bravo Charlie. You should be able to find it there as well. So again, once more, at the moment, if you'd like to check in over the air, please call now.
Kilo Foxtrot 0, Bravo Palma November. This is Jeff in Evergreen. Late check-in, KF0 BPN.
All right, Net Control welcomes the following check-in. KF0 BPN. Jeff, thanks for checking in. Okay, once more, does anybody have any other comments, questions, check-ins, anything else you'd like to bring up for the net so far? Please call now.
LAI.
Yeah, K0LAI. Larry, go ahead.
This is K0LAI. I recently went on a trip to Oklahoma City, and I had programmed my s.t.e.m D710G in the car, which has 1,000 memories, to have the repeaters that were along the way, along I-70 to Salina, Kansas, and then south from Salina down to Oklahoma City. And one of the things I programmed in there was the K-Link system. That's the Kansas repeater network. And it was pretty cool. I was able to hit the repeaters when I was in range of them, and I could talk to people. It lights up most of the state of Kansas, and I was able to talk to other people in the state of Kansas, kind of similar to the Colorado Central Connection, or Colorado Connection, I mean. So that was pretty cool. And then they have something similar in Oklahoma, not as extensive as the Kansas or Colorado ones, but they have something similar. And so I was able to use my radio and talk to people. And finally, the last thing was when I was in Oklahoma City, I got to go to the 45th Infantry Division Museum and meet Mike Gonzalez. He's the curator there. And they had some old radio displays of radios military radios have been used over the years, and that was kind of cool. And K0LAI, back to net.
W0TX repeater.
Very cool, K0LAI. Thanks for the trip report there. Yeah, taking a trip out to Oklahoma and on your way programming in some different infrastructure. Yeah, it's really interesting about the K-Link. It looks like KS0LNK, Lima November Kilo.net, K0LNK.net for more info on there. And yeah, very cool on the 45th Infantry Division Museum and some of the radio artifacts. Yeah, I'd be interested. Did you take any photos or anything?
Unfortunately, I didn't get too many photos because we only had 2 hours. We were a special deal we got for going to a convention, and they gave us a free 2-hour tour. Mike Gonzalez is pretty famous. He's on TV, both History Channel and on the NRA TV network, talking about military history and things. I know a couple of people who are on both programs that talk about military history. One lives in this area, and of course Mike Gonzalez is in Oklahoma City. You got the webpage up there. If you notice that Thunderbird, which is obviously an Indian symbol, their original symbol when they formed the division, the National Guard Division, it was a swastika. And then after before World War II started, everybody was associating the swastika with the Nazi regime. And before that, it was an Indian symbol, so they switched that Thunderbird. K0LAI back to net.
Oh, very, very cool. Yeah, nice little piece of information there. Yeah, on their symbol there. Yeah, really interesting things when you dive into military history. There's all sorts of things going on, and just a ton of overlaps, and yeah, really, really neat history. Very, very cool. All right, well, very, very cool. Yeah, there are, different museums out there, whether they be aviation or military or whatnot, and a lot of these were overlaps with radio. So, yeah, don't ever hesitate to take any media if you ever can, and we'd be more than happy to share that out here. Yeah, it's I think there's something in Colorado Springs. There's probably some museums, and I know we have the Air and Space Museum here in Denver. So. Yeah, don't ever hesitate to check things out, because there's a ton of overlaps between radio communications and all these things here.
LAI.
Yeah, K0LAI. Larry, go ahead.
Speaking of Colorado Springs, there's the Dragon Man's Museum, and they have an extensive amount of military radios on display at their museum. And I haven't been to it yet. I really would like to go down there sometime. It's a very interesting military museum. It starts with the history of the United States and goes through until modern times. This is K0LAI.
Yeah, I think that's what I was thinking of, but I think I heard of it in context of firearms. I think it's a good. There's a lot of military history. I'm guessing there. Yeah, so that's dragonmans.com for more info, and it's a museum in the Springs. So they have a lot of military equipment and history, and yeah, it looks like a really interesting museum to be able to visit. I think you have to schedule a visit, but yeah, more info again, dragonmans.com. Oh, this is what it is. Guided tours are only on Sundays at 10 a.m. So guided tour is about 2.5 hours. I don't know if you can take an unguided tour, but they have some interesting videos on their website as well of their museum. Yeah, very, very cool information there, Larry. Yeah, here in Colorado especially, we have a ton of overlaps between Army, Air Force, military in general. I mean, we have NORAD, that's in Springs, as well as Buckley Air Force Base, a ton of aeronautical engineering, and a ton of RF engineering. So we have a lot of overlaps here in the state between all of these hobbies. Professions. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control for the Denver Radio Club Learning Net. There is not technically a hard stop for this net, but we usually end in about 20 minutes, but that definitely extends out. With that, though, I'll throw it out to the net. Anybody else? I have a few things I can bring up, continuation of What's That Sound, as well as some other things, but I'll throw it back out to the net. Anybody else have any other comments, questions, check-ins, anything else you'd like to bring up for the net? Please call now.
KS0E, bit of traffic.
Yeah, KS0E, Alex, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Daron. I think I mentioned this before on the net, but one of the big projects I was working on this summer was putting together a portable power pack for when you go up to the mountains, you want to go camping and operate portable. And so what I had done is I was looking on the Parker Radio Association's website, and one of their members had sourced a bunch of lithium iron phosphate cells from China. And so I ended up doing the same thing. I got 4 3.2 volt nominal 100 amp hour prismatic cells. The total price, I'd say, was about $190, and that came with free shipping. I ordered these in April, I think, just before things started getting hairy at the ports. I'll let this drop. And they arrived just after field day, unfortunately. But they were all good cells, and you have to charge them up in a sort of somewhat specific way when you're putting them in series. You got to top balance them, it's called. And once I did that, you also need what's called a battery management system, which is just sort of like a chip that you get. You can get them from eBay. It's probably another $15 in cost. And that chip monitors the cell voltages, and if any one of the 4 cells gets a voltage above or below certain levels that are preset, at least on the cheap ones they're preset, then it'll cut off charging or discharging, and that's just to protect the cells. But I took it out 2 weekends ago down in the Spanish Peaks area, along with this NFET half wave that I've been working on, and it was ended up being very successful. I guess I discharged, by my calculations, roughly 60 amps, but the battery was still fine and still putting out like 13.2 volts. So the interesting thing about this chemistry is that unlike lead-acid batteries, you can discharge it down to about 20% of its capacity, and it also maintains, the voltage flow is a lot flatter. So, you know, it's around 13.1 to 13.3 volts for something like 60 or 70% of its discharge curve, which makes it great when you're trying to operate a transceiver that, you know, is like 13.8 volts plus or minus 1. I put it in one of those Apache cases from Harbor Freight, and then put power poles on the outside of the case, and so it can just plug right into the power poles that I have on the power leads for my 7300. And all in all, with the case and the battery cells, I would say that weighs about 20 pounds, so it's much lighter than a comparable lead-acid solution. And yeah, you can charge it from a bench ham radio power supply, or any of the benchtop DC power supplies as well. So I would encourage people who like to operate portable to take a look at that. I'd say all in, I'm probably in about $260 for 100 or at least 80 amp hours of usable capacity, which really isn't bad. And with that, I'll turn it back over to the net.
Question.
Very, very cool project there, AF0E. Yeah, that's really, really cool. I'm sorry, KS0E, Alex. Yeah, you've definitely brought that up in the past, and yeah, that's a really interesting system. The LiFePO 4, lithium-ion phosphate 4 packs, and the battery management systems, and Harbor Freight. Yeah, that's a lot of cool math and science you did there, so that's really cool to hear the outcome of that. Yeah, K0SUM, Jonathan, go ahead.
No, I had a question for him. How's he like traveling with the 7300 K0SUM?
This is KS0E. Yeah, sure, Jonathan. Traveling with the 7300 is fairly easy. I use the same Harbor Freight hard-sided case. I think it's Apache 3800. I think they're about $30 if you get the Harbor Freight coupon and use that. Might be a little bit more, but not much. And it's got that dense closed-celled foam, I think it is, that you just sort of pick apart. And so I made an outline for the 7300, and I can just sort of plop it in there. It's, you know, it makes it really, really easy. I just sort of carry the battery and the radio in their two respective cases and throw it in the back of my Jeep, or, well, place them now that I have all that energy next to the radio. But, yeah, it's super easy. It works really well. It's a radio that, as long as you feed it above, I want to say 13 volts, it plays well. If you are feeding it less than 13 volts, it won't develop a full 100-watt output. And then if it's kind of low and very close to 12, I've seen some YouTube videos where it sort of starts spewing harmonics. So it's definitely a voltage-sensitive transceiver.
Appreciate the answer. Definitely, I love learning things. K0LAI, back to you, Drone.
Very, very cool, K0LAI. Yeah, great project. It's always fun to be able to do portable work and, you know, be off the grid and be off commercial power and whatnot. Yeah, as we do field day. It's field day is a little bit different because we have generators and things like that. But you know, doing battery-based only radio transmissions, and you know, I'd imagine it's probably a lot quieter and a lot nicer, a little bit more peaceful. But very, very cool project. Yeah. All right. Yeah. If anybody has any comments, questions on lithium ion phosphate batteries or portable battery system or anything else in regards to that you want to bring up so far, go ahead. All right, sounds good. Yeah, I'm sure there's plenty of resources online. You definitely kind of have to do a little bit of math and science, as you kind of heard Alex explaining things there. You kind of have to know a little bit about what you're doing and the power requirements and what you're feeding in, what you're feeding out. You know, I mean, maybe you can also do some solar, but these Go Kit type things are really a lot of fun. You know, throw a ham radio and lithium-ion batteries and some other things inside of a hard case. You know, yeah, a lot of fun projects there. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. Anybody else have any other comments, questions, check-ins, anything else you'd like to bring up so far for the net, please call now. All right, this is K1DBC. We can roll into What's That Sound, a recent game we've been playing. I'll play a sound and we'll try to guess what it is. I'll review what we discussed last week, and then I'll bring some other stories or whatnot, or I'll drop and see if anybody has any comments, questions. So yeah, let me drop here for a moment and we'll roll into that. All right, too many things to push at once. Let's see here.
This is a journey into sound.
What's that sound?
What's that sound?
All right, so yeah, I will be playing a sound here. I'll have to bring it up. Give me a second here because I lost it here. So 2 weeks ago, I had played a sound, and I thought I revealed it on the Elmers session, but if not, let me play what that was, and I will reveal that again here in just a second.
matrix.
Program the machine. And to program the machine, we have the trusty paper tape.
Go.
All right, again, once more, that was an analog noise. If you want to take a guess at what it was, I'll try to play it again once more. I'm trying to play it via the YouTube and the air. A little tricky, but I'll play it once more here. And FSY, Dan, I got you checked in. So let me play that once more, and then we'll take any guesses and reveal it. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. I had a guess here, but don't think they from A0GQ line printer, and I think we had some guesses last week of old school card reader or paper card reader. But what that is, it is a 1958 K0LAI Japanese relay computer. So I'll play that once more here, and I guess I do have a video on the YouTube here.
W0TX repeater.
So right now it's inverting the matrix. Matrix inversion. It's solving the problem right now doing a matrix inversion, I suppose. Calculating very hard.
So good guesses from everybody here. This is, again, a 1958 K0LAI Japanese relay computer. Computer system built primarily using electromechanical relays and relay logic, obsoleting most earlier mechanical computers. Short-lived by technologies in the 30s and 50s. So really cool stuff here.
All the LEDs moving around kind of reminded me of Star Trek drone. K0LAI. Nice clip.
Yeah, thanks there, Jonathan K0LAI. Yeah, it's quite extraordinary what how much resources we needed to use to do basic computing, but it's really cool what we can see here. Okay, with that, I will play another sound. You can take a guess if you want, but I won't reveal it until next week. No prizes or anything, but I'll play another sound, and we'll try to bring it up next week. This one is a little bit different. This is a sound you will hear in analog. It's not necessarily amateur radio related, but you may have heard of its name before or the sound. So I will play one more sound here, and we will see if we want to discuss that here. All right, this is K1DBC. I will play that once more. Sorry, I forget how loud it might be, but I will play it once more, and feel free to take a guess. All right, this is K0LAI Net Control. A little bit different, but it is something that people have heard of in the past, or yeah, we'll see. So somebody had a guess here, pretty good guess, Alex. K0E sounds like meteors on AM. Good guess there. If anybody wants to throw out any guesses on the YouTube or on the air, let us know. All right, this is K0LAI Net Control. I don't know enough about it to not try to give too much away. Yeah, I guess I'll just leave it at that. It's a noise you'll hear in analog. With that, though, I'll throw it out to the net. All right, so I will reveal that again next Wednesday night Learning Net, and we can go from there on that. All right, this is K0LAI Net Control. I have a few bits of traffic I can pass, but I'll go ahead and throw it out to the net. Any other comments? And there was actually another check-in here, KF0FSY Dan. I got you checked in. Another guess here over the Horizon Radar. Good guess there. Good guess. What else? If anybody has any comments, questions, check-ins, anything else you'd like to bring up for the net, go ahead.
Check-in?
Yeah, go ahead with the check-in.
Hi, this is Kilo Foxtrot 0, Golf Alpha Golf. Saying hello, I'm a little bit guy in say hi to
There. Let us know. I didn't catch his call. I'm going to try to catch it once more here. Somebody had a guess here. Pretty good guess. All right, sorry, this is K0LAI Net Control. Sorry, I had a Kilo Foxtrot 0 call in there. I didn't catch the call sign or the name. Can you try once more? Sorry. To Net Control, but you play one more. Yeah, this is no.
All right, I'll try one more time. My radio
yeah, I guess I'll just leave it at that. It's
not that great, but this is Kilo Foxtrot 0, Golf Alpha Golf. Just checking in, no traffic. Say hello.
Okay, perfect. Dario, Kilo Foxtrot 0, Golf Alpha Golf. Got you checked in. All right, yeah, again, we're nearing the end of the net. There's no hard stop here. We'll probably go for about another 10, 15 minutes. With that, though, any other comments, questions, check-ins? This is the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net. We take it's general discussion about ham radio, s.t.e.m, s.t.e.m. Everyone is welcome to check in. If anybody wants to check in at the moment, go ahead. All right, this is K0LAI Net Control. I have a few bits of traffic, but I'll throw it out to the net once more. Anybody have any comments, questions, check-ins at the moment? Go ahead. All right, this is K0LAI Net Control. I did play a video to begin with before the net, and I'll try to play it afterwards as well, and I'll try to get the audio over the air as well. But it was a video from about a year ago of somebody trying to help explain why we should have enforce right to repair. And just more recently, the FTC voted unanimously to enforce right to repair. Let me drop here for a moment. If you haven't heard of it, it's come about in recent years with John Deere and large agricultural equipment that they own that farmers are not able to fix or modify themselves, and it's gone into a discussion of shouldn't consumers be able to fix their own products? And it's very similar with Apple products. You have to go to an Apple certified store to get that fixed. So yeah, within the last few days, they came out with the 5-0 unanimous vote on the position to right to repair. Quote is, restricting consumers and businesses from choosing how they repair products can substantially increase the total cost of repairs, generate harmful electronic waste, and unnecessarily increase wait times for repairs. In contrast, providing more choice in repairs can lead to lower cost, reduce e-waste by extending the useful lifespan of products, enable more timely repairs, and provide economic opportunities for entrepreneurs and local businesses. So this is what does that mean for anybody? Again, it's very, very similar to what it said there. Reduce e-waste, lower costs for repairs. It would allow anybody to be able to repair products if they have the given ability, and it wouldn't allow companies like Apple or John Deere to enforce their own repair system going through them. So really cool thing here. It's been a discussion for many years, and I'm glad to see that the FTC weighed on the consumer side, essentially. So hopefully in the next 15-20 years we'll see the positive outcomes of this, and you probably won't hopefully you won't have to upgrade your phone every 1 or 2 years or something, and hopefully we'll start to make things less out of glass, so if you drop it by accident it doesn't just immediately break and things like that. So more info, hackaday.com, FTC rules on right to repair. Over on the blog, RTL-SDR.com, a lot of cool articles here recently. Top one here is testing the Radioberry and HF SDR transceiver Raspberry Pi hats. So a lot of transceiver stuff with Raspberry Pis going on recently. Radioberry is an HF transceiver board designed to be used as a add-on for the Raspberry Pi. It uses the same chip as a Hermes Lite 2 software-defined radio, which gives it a 12-bit analog-to-digital conversion with one receive and one transmit channel, maximum bandwidth of up to 384 kilohertz, and an operating frequency range of 0 to 30 megahertz. So really, really cool being able to get into a software-defined radio with equipment you already have. I guess some of the bigger articles here from the 21st, about a week ago, it was announced that EasyNet Pro Pro 2 will be made free. Call sign Whiskey 7 Edward Lima. It's popular software from him, EasyNet, antenna modeling program, which is based on the numerical electromagnetics code, NEC. With an NEC-based antenna modeling program, it is possible to design antennas by modeling their geometry and connections, and then simulating parameters like radiation pattern gain and VSWR. You can also determine the effects of height, roof angles, nearby objects, and more. So again, up until this point, so this will be taking place January 1st, 2022. Pricing up till then is $99 for EasyNet and $149 for EasyNet Plus, and $525 for EasyNet Pro 2. Pro 4 being another $200 or $100 more than that. They are retiring, and starting January 1st, 2022, EasyNet Pro 2 and EasyNet Plus will be made free, and EasyNet Pro 4 will be continued. Source code will not be released, and no support will be provided. So very cool antenna modeling software that I know a lot of people have spoken about here. And very, very soon it will be available for free. So I have no excuse not to at least try these things out. All right, sorry. So there was a few things there. I think, maybe one more or two more things here, but I'll throw it out to the net. Anybody have any comments, questions on anything I brought up so far, or anything else you'd like to bring up? Go ahead. All right, one more story here from our article here from the rtl-sdr.com blog. Scroll past everything here. Kiwi backdoor situation. Sorry, Kiwi SDR. So since its announcement in early 2016, this blog and many other blogs have talked about the Kiwi SDR. It's a 14-bit wideband receive-only HF software-defined radio created by John Simmons, 7L or KF6VO. Bandwidth up to 32 megahertz, and it can receive entire 10 kilohertz to 30 megahertz spectrum all at once. Compared to most other SDRs, the Kiwi SDR is a little different as it is designed to be used as a public web-based SDR, meaning that SDR owners can optionally share their device online with anyone who wants to connect to it. The public functionality allows for some interesting distributed applications such as time delay of arrival, direction finding, a lot of cool things. You'd be able to log into there very much like websdr.com and listen to somebody's software-defined radio across the world. In order to implement this, they run a custom open source software on a BeagleBone, a single board computer, which connects to your home network. Recently, there's been vocal concern about a security flaw in this software, which could allow hackers to access the SDR and devices inside your network. The flaw stems from the fact that the SDR has a backdoor remote admin access that allows the Kiwi SDR creator to log into the device and troubleshoot or make configurations. Has been public knowledge since 2017, although not advertised in explicit consent. To have it active was not required. Let me drop here for a moment. No malicious intent, but they also don't use. They choose to use HTTP. They choose to not use secure ways of accessing it, as well. I think they've actually gone ahead and disabled it. They have disabled it, and those auto updates. So as of this article, 540 out of 600 had already been updated. So. Yeah, understand that if you expose a device to the internet, through malintent or other intent, your network could be exposed to the internet. So, if you have any things like that, you're putting on the internet. Yeah, definitely understand what you're using there. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. I think I have maybe one more thing here, but I'll go ahead and drop and bring it up to the group here. Does anybody have any other comments, questions, check-ins, or anything else so far you'd like to bring up for the net? Please go now. All right. Recently on our groups.io, I put up a message. Really interesting. It's probably like a high school project or a middle school thing that I never saw this though, but this comes out of the GNU radio days. So basically software-defined radio at its finest. So this conference here. Let me drop for a moment. So the GNU Radio Days is virtual conference aims at bringing together active radio users coming from a scientific, technical, amateur, and hacker background and foster interaction between GNU radio developers in general. The conference description and program can be accessed on their website here, GNU Golf November Uniform -EU-21.scienceconf.org. So they recently put something up on their YouTube. Well, they have a bunch of things up on their YouTube. I'd highly recommend checking out their YouTube. European GNU Radio Days. A lot of RF-based talks and things like that. So PRN and GPS decoding using software-defined radio, advanced tutorials. So they recently put another video on here. Let me drop once more.
W0TX repeater.
Showing a video of ice being put into a microwave and not melting. Who knew? I didn't know that. I tried it for myself, and it actually doesn't melt. There's a much bigger story than that on its own. So this was... their description in the video is, with 2 ground-penetrating radars currently roaming Mars on the Chinese and American rovers, it is worth noticing how these instruments... Sorry. What am I doing here? Sorry. It is worth noticing how these instruments are ideally suited for probing dry, frozen subsurface regions where liquid water will not attenuate the propagating electromagnetic field due to conductivity. Inspired by Dustin Schroeder's talk, How We Look Kilometers Below the Antarctic Ice Sheet, TED.com talk, and their IEEE Transatlantic Geoscience and Remote Sensing in situ demonstration of a passive radio sounding approach using the sun for echo detection, using a USRP, software-defined radio, to demonstrate using the sun as a passive, non-cooperative bistatic radar source with frequency stacking for improved range resolution. A lot of words there. So this goes into how we look beneath the ice shelves here on the planet Earth, how they're how the Mars rovers are able to let's see. So for on the NASA site here, radar imager for Mars subsurface experiment RIMFAX is a ground-penetrating radar instrument selected to fly on the Mars 2020 mission and designed to produce from the surface of Mars for the first time high-resolution stratigraphic information about the subsurface of the red planet. A lot of cool stuff here. It's really, really crazy. So yeah, and I would encourage you to try this ice experiment yourself. I mean, put an ice cube in a tray and put it in the microwave, and it won't melt. It's kind of crazy. Let's see. I might have one more thing, but with that, I will throw it out to the net. Okay, let me see if I have any last minute things here. I do not think that I do. Oh, I guess one more thing here. We have been talking about in the past surface mount soldering. And this kit you can buy from venatormfg.com. It's a binary decoder soldering kit. And it's a learn to surface mount solder while practicing your base 2 number system. Simple kit, great introduction to the world of surface mount soldering, introducing you to the number of different packages and components. Along the way, you'll learn what these components are and how they work and how to properly solder them. Once you're done with assembly, power on the board and practice conversing between base 10 and base 2. So it did come in recently, and so I will I'll be trying to put in a video of this, and yeah, I'll try to get this soldered up. So pretty cheap kit here. I think it was $15, $20 or something like that. Yeah, $20. So yeah, surface mount soldering, if you ever wanted to get into that. Pretty interesting project.
A0GQ comment.
Yeah, A0GQ. Tom, go ahead.
I kept trying to paste it into the chat, but YouTube is really good about stripping out URLs to make sure that nobody ever goes anyplace. But www.qsl.net/4NEC2 is another interface to the original Lawrence Livermore NEC stuff. And it works just about as well as our handy-dandy EasyNet. It's free, which is always good, but it draws some really pretty graphs that may be its claim to fame. A0GQ back to net.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, I was wondering what you had put there in the chat. Yeah, EasyNet 2, another good program here. Yeah, QSL .net / the number 4 NEC the number 2. Yeah, another great product, another good free software here for creating, viewing, optimizing, and checking 2D and 3D style antenna geometry structures and generate display and or compare near, far, or far field radiation patterns for both the starting and experienced antenna modeler. So yeah, measuring SWR and gain and resonance. Another good tool here. Thank you. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. We're probably going to wrap things up here. I guess with that, I'll put out any last call here. Are there further comments, questions, check-ins, or anything else you'd like to bring up for the net? Please call now.
They're on A0GQ.
Yeah, A0GQ. Tom, go ahead.
Quick question. Are you going to use solder paste in the rework station to do your service mount?
Good question there. Yeah, so we'd spoken about reflow soldering stations in the past. I haven't purchased one yet. Their instructions show basic soldering tools, and him trying to do that. It seems like it might be a bit fiddly to do. So I guess I might try one or two, but I think I might try to get a reflow oven or a reflow kit to make things a bit easier.
Thank you for the answer. A0GQ back to net.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, very quick primer introduction into this. I want this surface mount as opposed to through hole. Much smaller components, much smaller, and it's a lot easier to use like a something like a heat gun to put, or we would put solder paste and then put solder on. Or you put the component on, I forget which, I haven't done it yet, so I don't know, but basically using a heat gun in order to solder down these really tiny components as opposed to using even a fine-tipped soldering iron. Yeah, if you want to delve your hand at that, again, Venator, VENATOR, MFG.com. Talking about him in the past, Jim Heaney. He puts these projects on as a student himself, a mechanical engineering student, so really cool projects. Okay, I will do one final call. Any other comments, questions, check-ins, anything else for the net? Please call now. Don't have a microscope. No, I need to get a microscope because that makes things a lot easier, that's for sure. Yeah. Okay. I guess real quick, I'll play the sound that I played earlier, and we'll discuss it next week. So see if you can guess what it is. It is something you'd hear in analog. I'll play it once more, and we'll reveal it next Learning Net.
W0TX repeater.
All right. Let's see. So, with that, my name is Daron, Net Control, Kilo 1 Delta Bravo Charlie. I thank everyone for being here this evening. Thanks for all the participation on YouTube. We had 21 check-ins. Appreciate everyone checking in. Again, this net is streamed and archived on YouTube. I think that probably the easiest way to find it is if you search for our club call sign W0TX or my call sign K1DBC. Otherwise, you can go to youtube.com//Whiskey Edward, Romeo Edward, Golf Romeo 8. I played a video at the beginning of the stream. I'll play it after the stream as well, or after the net. I'll try to play the audio over the air as well, talking about right to repair. With that, though, let's see. Yeah, more information on our groups.io page, groups.io/G/ham learning net. I post materials on past net topics, check-ins, and some behind-the-scenes stuff here. So feel free to check that out. More info on our club on our website, Whiskey 0 Tango X-Ray, W0TX.org. We just had our meeting last month, and I had put that up on YouTube. Kit building techniques for success, presented by Joe Eisenberg, K0NEB. So if you missed that, you can go and check that out, as well as the Elmers session right before that. Very similar to this, just a general Q&A about electronics, ham radio. So yeah, feel free to check those out as well. Next monthly meeting is going to be August 18th. Nothing, that's not mentioned just yet what it is. Yeah. Let's see what else. Go back to the net script here. You're more than happy to act as net control operator at any given time. It's a very casual net. I'm more than happy to help take check-ins or however you'd like. Yeah, it's fairly casual. You can let us know if you have any comments or questions. You can email us, drclearningnet@gmail.com. We'd like to thank everyone who participated. We especially appreciate and thank our Elmers. Thanks to the Denver Radio Club for allowing us to use the repeaters for this net. We invite you to join us on the third Wednesday of the month at 6 p.m. for an Elmers session prior to the regular scheduled Denver Radio Club meeting at 7. This takes all online at the moment. On Google Meet, there will be a link there once the meeting is announced, so you don't need to be a ham radio operator. You don't need to be in the state. You can always join there. So everyone is welcome to that. So please join us next week, 19:30 hours, for the next Learning Net. I'm going to do something a little bit different. I won't take it out of net mode just at the moment. I'll go ahead and replay the video I played at the beginning, and then after that, I will take it out of net mode. So let me drop and replay that once more. Here, it's just a 3.5-minute video about right to repair. If I can find it here again. Sorry, just one more moment here.
Hey everybody, so my testimony in Maryland, at least in the House version of the bill, was pretty awful. I think I did decent in the Senate version with the 2 minutes I had, but the best testimony by far, in my opinion, was from Sam. He is a moderator on my Discord server and has been for about a year now. He showed up to this Maryland hearing, and I think he just knocked it out of the park with the 119 seconds that they give you to testify before an annoying buzzer goes off. So let's play Sam's testimony, since I think it was, again, the best of all the testimonies given.
Hello, my name is Sam Mensimer. I'm 16 years old. I'm a junior in high school. I have run an electronics repair business in Washington, D.C. since I was 12. I'm here today because right to repair is very important to ensuring the longevity of our electronics as they become a bigger part of our lives. I believe Jessa and the other panel mentioned the software locks that Apple's been putting in place on the batteries on the iPhone 11s and the newer models. Apple, I actually have a quote here from Apple that they responded to this saying, it's unsafe for people other than Apple authorized service providers to replace their batteries. I've been replacing batteries in iPhone since I was 12. I'm still here today. Got an iPhone right here. You can just pull there's some screws in here. You take the screen off, you pull some tabs out, and the battery comes out. I don't see how that's unsafe. They also, many manufacturers, like they mentioned before, they won't give us electrical schematics. They say it's like an intellectual property issue, and giving us access to that information would compromise their intellectual property. I don't really think that's a valid argument. I can make that schematic if I look at the device and go around for several hours with a multimeter probing around figuring out where stuff goes. Also, a lot of companies have shown that that's not an intellectual property issue. This is an electrical schematic that I found tucked into the bottom of my Bosch dishwasher while I was fixing some electrical wires the other day after a rat chewed through them. So this piece of paper helped me fix that dishwasher with an 80-cent piece of wire and a $20 drain hose, as opposed to paying the $450 that we were quoted by the Bosch factory service technician. If I were able to get parts or schematics like this for things like this, I also repair motherboards. Jessa taught me how to repair motherboards. I went to her class. If I were able to get those schematics for an iPhone like this, I would be able to keep hundreds more devices out of a landfill and keep consumers from having to spend thousands of dollars on new devices. I encourage a favorable report, and I thank you for your time.
So this panel? Seeing none, thank you all for coming.
Could I also add, I would also like a favorable report. Forgot to say that.
All right, thank you all very much.
All right, everyone. Thanks for hanging out here. I will probably just end this here in just a minute. Yeah, just a minute here. All right, everyone. This is K0LAI DBC Net Control. Again, right to repair. Very, very important topic, and gladly the FTC recently gave the go-ahead on that. So companies like Apple and other companies can't restrict us from fixing our own products. So with that, again, everyone, thanks again for hanging out. This is K0LAI DBC Net Control. I'm going to go ahead and take net mode off, and I'll drop from there.
PL on.
All right, this is K0LAI DBC Net Control. Again, 7 through to all. I am clear, and we'll see you all next week. Take care. All right, again, thanks for hanging out here again. If don't ever hesitate to let me know if you have any other comments or questions on here. But with that, we'll see you all next week. Take care.